Yo, what's up, guys? Good morning. Give me a second. I'm just gonna post this on X and things. Um, I think you guys should know this, but I don't think there's any news today that is important, so probably nothing to be trading on a live account for, but definitely eval I will be trading. And if there's something A plus, I will consider taking it on unfunded, but we will see. Definitely doesn't seem bullish though today, I'll tell you that. Okay. Give me a second. It looks like we're maybe coming down to these equal lows, guys. We're range bound from this daily fair value gap, so we could easily come and dump here. Also, keep in mind we have Tesla earnings later today, and we're range bound, so my guess is that we're not going to go anywhere significant today. Probably after hours, but okay. Let me share this. Okay. All right, guys. So let's pull this up here. So on the daily, as you can see, we're rejecting from the mean threshold of this daily fair value gap, which is what I expected. However, I do anticipate we will at least trade up to the top of the daily, which is at 20,725. So easily we could balance this fair value gap. If you guys don't know what that is, again, a fair value gap is just a big down close candle that forms an empty space of unfilled orders. And how you know there's unfilled orders? Well, there's these two wicks here, right? So from the high of this wick to the low of this wick, you draw a box out in time, and that is the daily fair value gap. And then, of course, this is the mean threshold, which is the 50% level of the daily. So that's what that is. And then if you look here, we have all this low resistance liquidity. If I was to draw a trend line from this low to this low, and we extend it out in time, right, like this, look how perfectly algorithmic these levels are. It's like they're destined to be hit. So definitely something to watch. Wow, Enphase is down 14% from that news. Sheesh. From yesterday, this is something that I added. I am in a swing trade here. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to close this if we get a weekly close below 79. It is Wednesday, so we have 2 days. We have today, tomorrow, and Friday to keep this held in this level. Now, if you're a little bit more risk averse, I would wait for a close back above this fair value gap right here on the weekly. If we get a close back above 98 on the weekly, I think that that's going to take us all the way up here. So if you're risk averse, that's where I would add personally, but unfortunately I got into that trade a bit early, but it is what it is. You don't win every single trade. Okay, so we're bouncing from this new week opening gap. We do have this unbalanced fair value gap right here on the 1, so if you want to scalp, you could potentially take something to here. Macro times, we have something come. Why is it not showing my macro times here? It should be. Oh, here they are. So there's a macro time coming up at 9:50, in which case we would be able to come back and balance this 1 minute. Yo, what's up, Course? Good morning, bro. Sign into chat. Can I not sign in? Hold on, guys. Something was happened with my computer. I have to sign into my chat? What the hell does that even mean? Open in web browser. Huh. I can't type on my chat, but that's okay. No, Cores, I am not trading on a live account today, but I do not think longs are the optimal trade today. I think that we've balanced the 50% level of the daily fair value gap, like I called earlier. And we just traded from 2 bearish PD arrays. I think this is a sell model down to these equal lows potentially. So I'm looking for shorts. I don't see any equal lows anywhere that I could specifically target. This low never got hit, so these are relative equal lows right here. Are these equal lows? Let me see something. Oh, guys, so we actually do have another set, it looks like, right here. Let me check that they're equal. Yeah, so these are equal lows, guys. Hidden equal lows, but those are equal. So that's another target that we can aim for. Course, what made you think longs, bro? I mean, you could be right, but what is your bias behind it? Just a retracement down? We could easily come back, guys, and balance this 5. So if you see a 1 minute setup back up to here, that's potentially where we could reject from. You look at Asia and London, we had this consolidation, right? So we could potentially get a manipulation up here, but we kind of already had it in London. I think the consolidation and the manipulation was here potentially, and then this is distribution. But yeah, nothing that I see personally here. Now, if we do get a close above these 2 sets of 1 minutes, that is, so you see how right here it happened, then we closed below. So immediately I already know, based on what I'm seeing this morning, price action is not behaving optimally. First of all, look at these candles. They're completely up and down, up and down, up and down barcode. We closed above a 1 minute fair value gap right at market open. And we induced a lot of traders long. This should have been the trade up to this 5 minute fair value gap. So the fact that we didn't take it out, and then we closed back below it, and now we're almost closed back above it, now we're closing below it. This tells me already that price action today is funky, and that I should not be on a live account. And also, I explained to you guys earlier in the Discord that you shouldn't be live trading based on the fact that we don't have optimal news today. So I'm just going to open my Discord quick. Yeah, a lot of consolidation before now. Yes, they're just getting stops in that area. So if I go over to the economic calendar and I pull up data for the 23rd, which is today, correct? All that we have, okay, so we have a BRICS meeting. So that's an even more of a reason not to trade these BRICS summits. I don't know what it is with them, but I've experienced, from my experience, they create this kind of nonsense. So yeah, definitely would not be in a trade right now. Definitely not. And just look at this, guys. It's so ugly. But we do have these equal lows here at 20, 343.75 and 20, 270. These are both targets that I would be aiming for over the next couple of days. The sucky part is that Tesla has earnings coming up today, and based on what I'm seeing, it looks like this is more so headed for bearishness. Now, we could just continue to leave LRLR and then take this out later after we balance this daily fair value gap. So like we could keep forming this algorithmic trend line that you're seeing here, and then eventually it's going to break. So we could come back up here, right? Let me draw a pathway for you guys so you can see it. So we could hold this right here, and then we could come back up here, and then we could take this out, and then finally we could form the real move that comes out and takes all of these levels, and then we could continue higher. But you could continue to form this algorithmic trend line. You can see it here, guys. It looks perfect. Every single touch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're forming a fifth one. So if Tesla earnings are bullish, then we could have a bullish couple of days to balance the daily, and then we could go down. But eventually, at some point, I think all this LRLR is going to get taken out, and then we're going to potentially be able to go back to the upside. But you have to be super careful with days like today. Again, it's a BRICS meeting, BRICS summit. There's no red folder news. Not an optimal day to be taking with a live account. So if I see a scalp, I'll take it on an eval account. But apart from that, I'm not taking anything. Benoj, nothing happening today either. Range bound, going back to work. See you guys tomorrow. Benoj, that's a great idea, bro. Today is not the day to be trading. I agree with you. I'm just kind of bored, and I figured I would go live and check out some other stuff too, but definitely not a good day to be trading. Let's look at the hourly quick. I just want to see if we're balancing any hourly fair value gaps. So you guys see there's no hourly fair value gaps here. On the 15, so this is where the LRLR can continue to form here. So I told you guys there's all that low resistance liquidity, and now we're forming the secondary trend line here, or not the secondary, but like the fifth part of the trend line. So this could be the area that we bounce from today and continue up to this 5 minute, which I think is potential. Are these equal highs? No, they're not. I think that we'll probably come back and balance this 5 minute if I had to guess. However, we did already form this 15 and balance it, so we don't have to go back up to the 5. But I think, I mean, just based on what I'm seeing, it looks like this wants to be balanced. So you could look for a 1 minute inverse, but oh, we do have a 5 minute. So if this closes above, so look at this, we closed above it already, now we're closing below it. If we close above it one more time and form this 1 minute OB, that could be the long, but this is not high probability, guys. If I had to say anything, this setup is not high probability. Neither are shorts. Benoj says, I like the 300 to 330 area if anyone wants to go long. 300 to 330. Yeah, that's a ways away, but we do have sell side liquidity that I talked about earlier there, so that's not a bad idea, but we've got a ways to go until then. Yeah, good idea, Benoj. So, I know that you guys have wanted to follow my TradeAbate account, so this is that eval that we've been in. You can even look at the account. We brought this up from 49,700 to 50,830 so far. And I'll keep you guys updated on this account as it goes. But we want to try and get this up to 53 for an eval, right? So we're also bouncing from this new week opening gap. So that's another area that we're pushing from. But to me, yeah, this looks like we could potentially come up this high. Again, there is nothing here for me to take on a live account. If we close above this 1 minute on eval in the macro time, I think that that's not a bad trade, and that would be, let's look at the risk reward here. Again, I'm not a huge fan of it, but yeah, it's a 1 to 2. Really not great. Risking $300 to make 365, absolutely not. Sorry guys, but I'm not going to be trading this. But I want you guys to see what my mindset is like when I look at this choppy price action. You see a 1-to-1 trade where, I mean, these are 20-point moves here. I mean, it's not massive, but that's pretty big for a range-bound day. So not something that I really like. Is anybody else trying to take a trade today? If you are, I'll come to your house and slap you. Because you should not be trading today. We just took out internal sell side. So this could be the area where we get a big green candle. But again, not for me. Guys, learn when is optimal to trade. I've shown you guys previous days where things were choppy. If you guys remember, I talked about Asia and London session. When they consolidate, typically it can lead to a big move. We do have distribution right now. We had this accumulation, potential manipulation above this sweep here, and then we're continuing down. But especially when we have big moves in London and Asia, like we had the other day, I'll have to remember where it is. It was right here. So we had this big 140-point move in London, Asia, and then look what happened during New York session. So that type of thing is what we're looking for. Now we do have consolidation, so distribution is likely here. So we could look for shorts, but I'm not a huge fan of what I'm seeing here personally. So we have this little 1 minute fair value gap that we're rejecting from, and the top of the Nubique opening gap. So that could drive us down to sell side. But the optimal thing here, if you're looking for shorts, in my opinion, would be another manipulation swing above this internal high into this 5 minute fair value gap, and then the rejection. You guys have to think about how the market works. The market makers are obsessed. They want to stop people out. They don't want to make moves easy. So they don't want to just dump the markets typically. They want to take out a lot of liquidity. So we have all these shorts that are short from this high, this high, this high, this high. And we have an unbalanced or unmitigated fair value gap above. So ideally we would manipulate and then continue down. And we just took out all the sell side here. So everyone that was long is now stopped out. Everyone that was short from here is stopped out, right? From one tick. Look at this, guys. This is what I'm talking about when I say there's an algorithm. Everybody that was short above this high got stopped out on this candle to the tick. And then we moved down. Do you guys see how that works? One tick we got stopped out from this internal high. It's not coincidence that we go up here. The reason we go up here is to stop anyone out who is short in this whole move. If the move is bearish, this was the stop out. Now, potentially they could even drive it once more if they feel like it, depending on, I guess the algorithm looks at what volume is like, how many people are long, how many people are short. I think that's a big determinant as to whether or not they'll move it down immediately or they'll rebalance it. But it's not a coincidence that we're going above this high by one tick. That is algorithmic price action. That is why I don't believe the markets are free markets, at least the indices, maybe commodities, because gold and silver and coffee, you know, there's more, they're real. This is fake. There's nothing, it's not a real asset. It's just an index. Now, I know it tracks, you know, the top companies, but there's nothing of value on the line as far as like physical goods. So I think commodities are a little bit different, but again, it's not a coincidence that we're coming up and stopping this out by one tick. You have to realize that's just the coincidences, it would be insanity, and it happens time and time again. So anyways, done with that rant. But yeah, still in this crazy consolidation. And hopefully we'll come up and balance this 5. Algorithm is hard to learn. Yep. It's super complex. And again, I don't think it's entirely preset. I think depending intraday on what, like I said, what retail and what positions are like, I think the algorithms spool price in different directions depending on how many people are long and short, how many calls and puts there are. It's very complex. But you can find signatures in price that make it extremely likely that you'll win. Yeah, I agree, course. I agree, bro. Yeah, this is the worst PA. We actually had a pretty bad morning session yesterday and then a very good afternoon session. So I'll show you guys that quick. So this was Asia London, but this was really good in my opinion. Yesterday we had this beautiful 1 minute that got closed below right here. I took this short and I took my take profits at this internal high. I mean this internal low. So you guys see this? There were equal highs up here. I removed them from the chart, but they were perfect equal highs that got swept. Then we had this huge bullish reaction and then an immediate down close candle. This right here I took short. I was fully expecting it to trade back into here, but we never did until later on in the day. But I took that down to the sell side. And then this was another optimal trade. So look at this, guys. Another reason that I'm talking about algorithms, okay? This is a 1 minute fair value gap that started the bearish move, right? And look at this. It's not coincidental that we come into this fair value gap by 1 tick and we took this short right here. So this was that inverse. So we swept internal buy side right here. We traded into a bearish fair value gap and we inversed a 1 minute bullish fair value gap. That was a beautiful trade and I took that down to this low. I held it overnight, I think. Right there. That was the tick that it took. So I took runners. I stopped one of my positions at this internal low. Then I held runners to this internal low right there, and it got taken out at Asia with this manipulation leg down for the 1 minute. Loved your gold trade. Oh, thank you, Cores. Yeah, that one was beautiful. For you guys that didn't see that gold trade, look again, algorithmic price action. This is why I took the trade. We came down and swept this internal low. Look, there's a theme, guys. The internal low gets swept by 1 tick, right? And then we had this 5 minute inverse right here. That was beautiful. And I took this long, I think on this retracement. I have to look back at my trade, but I took it long, I think, on this pullback right here. We were also trading it back into a bullish fair value gap. And then on the 15, we had, was it the 15 or the hourly? The hourly, we had this unbalanced 1 hour fair value gap. So I took my profits here. Now, I missed a big run, obviously, but now we're having this huge manipulation. And this actually looks like we're probably going to come back down to here. But probably at minimum to this hourly right here. And there's all the sell side that we still haven't swept. But yeah, I missed all of this move. But again, that was a really nice trade. Okay, so we're getting another bullish reaction here. So an entry from here would be a $500 TP. But again, we haven't closed above, and we closed above here and then rejected, and it's a bricks day. Not liking the odds for this one. When did you take the GC trade? I posted it on X, but I took that one privately. I just posted afterwards and asked why people thought I took it. I don't call gold. I think gold is very manipulated. I don't want to subject people to that trade, so I didn't call that in the Discord. But just sometimes I do take trades privately. But just specifically gold is something I don't call in the Discord. See this, guys? So it looked like we were going to close above, and then we're closing below now. Again, I do have a feeling this new week opening gap is going to act as support. If the market makers want to continue this LRLR, this would be the spot to do it. Maybe slightly lower, so like down at 20,393 potentially. But if we draw this out as a horizontal ray, let me just draw that out quick. Where's the ray? So from this low, whoops. So it would probably be somewhere around here. I mean, we could just keep chopping time distortion until here, and then we could get the trend line at 20,400. That's possible. But again, if the market makers don't want to drive us down here, then we'll just keep holding this area, and then, I don't know. But again, this is all speculation, guys. I'm not trying to time this. Did we just form equal highs here? No. They're close, but they're not equal highs. Now, if you want something a little bit lower risk, this 1 minute doesn't look that bad. Now, again, if we hold this trend line here, so I just draw that, again, I showed you guys that horizontal ray. If we hold that, and then we push higher here, that would be a pretty crazy trade. Now, what is this fair value gap? Is that an hourly that we're holding? No. Did I draw that on the 15? Maybe I forget. Oh, so we're in this 15-minute fair value gap, guys, too. So keep that in mind that if we see bullish reactions out of here, that wouldn't be half bad up to this 5-minute. But again, I'm not looking at this PA and what we did yesterday, how we took out the 50 again, and then we're rejecting. This just looks like a sell model to me, down lower. But yeah, there's so many furus on X, just like me, I guess. I'm not going to say I'm not a furu, because you can say anyone's a furu, but lots of finance trading pages on X are posting about this chop right now. Again, this is what happens during BRICS and during Fed speakers with no news. So guys, also, I'll show you what to look for, honestly, because some of you guys don't even use Forex Factory. But, oh, why did that do that? So if you go on the calendar, again, I think the people that are on here probably know this, but the only days that I look for to trade on cash accounts are like days like this on October 24th. See this? We have red folder news, and that's it. I mean, we have some orange folder, but we have primarily I look for one set at 8:30, but if we have it at 8:30 and 9:45, I'll typically wait for the 9:45 news unless an AAA plus setup forms at 8:30. But on a day like today, so we have this BRIC Summit, we have FOMC members speaking. We do have some orange folder, but not optimal when we don't have a red folder. So if you see this type of a day, or like this day on Monday, oh my God, this is disgusting. We had no red folder, no orange folder, and just FOMC members. So that is the days that I say absolutely not on anything. No accounts. So now we're on the 15. We are potentially closing below. And if we close below the 15 here with a 15-minute candle, then we could probably drive down to this sell side, or at least take out this sell side, and then maybe bounce to continue the trend line. We'll have to see what we get. Okay, so we're now at the trend line. So let's see if we see a reaction here or not. Again, guys, this wasn't even a good short. There was no inverse to take. But yeah, we could easily see these equal lows too. However, I'm not interested in taking this short here. It's possible that we get a continuation down today, but I would be very cautious because we have Tesla earnings later. Now, if we have a crazy sell day and then we have Tesla earnings, I don't know. That's also speculation. It could be a bullish reaction. We could go up, we could go down. I don't know. But I'm just being real with you guys as a trader. You're not going to know what happens all the time. Like, this is a very what-if zone to me. Now, again, I'm favoring shorts, but just based on where we are in this range and the fact that we have already balanced a lot of this bearish fair value gap, it makes me not be convinced that shorts are the way. I mean, that longs are the way, but also shorts are not optimal here. I don't see anything that's optimal. This was a great short yesterday, and I took it right here. But now, if you have runners, you're letting them run. Wow, big push down here. But yeah, this is, like I said earlier, we had that accumulation, potential manipulation here, and this is all distribution. Oh, I want to see one thing quick, actually. So the 50% level of this leg is right here, which is right below the two areas of equal lows. So yeah, I think this is pretty bearish, guys. And if you looked at 15-minute I talked about, oh, it hasn't even inversed yet. It's closing in 8 minutes. Wow, that's pretty bearish, guys. Yeah, so this sell side is going to hit most likely. Maybe if we get a trade back into this 1 minute and then get a dump, we could try it as a scalp, but this could be a sell day. I don't know. But do you guys see how there's no entry here? You see how this is a consolidation? And then there's no inverse fair value gaps here that you could take. Like, there's no bullish fair value gaps here that happened at from market open that you could take for a short. Again, there was the shorts from yesterday that you could be holding runners to, but I hope you guys see that there was no entry in the morning. So again, we're balancing this 1 minute. This could take us down. If you're short here, I think your stops would be above this internal high. So they could drive price up here and then take it down. I don't know yet. So you guys see how they've missed these equal lows? No news, BRICS meeting, FOMC members. Okay, so we just inverse this one. So you guys could, in theory, take this long to this internal high. If you want to, you can. But I would rate that maybe a 5 out of 10. Just based on the fact that we have equal lows below. If this forms a 1 minute and it inverses, then I would take that short. And my guess is that it's going to consolidate around here, potentially, and then we get a big down close candle. So this will be a trade I'll take on eval for you guys. Right here, 2-to-1 trade. So far we're forming the 1 minute down here, so it's an even smaller stop, which is nice. But yeah, this to me looks like we're going to go back up here now. And then maybe we get the trade afterwards. Let's look at the 5 quick and see if there's anything. So we have this 5 minute fair value gap that we could easily balance. So if we get a bullish reaction here, I will take this as a scalp up to here. So TP will be this high. Stop loss will be down. Ugh, that's so bad. Yeah, guys, so the only trade I'm going to take is if we get the short. But I think we're going to come up and sweep this internal high right now. Course, you want a scalp, bro? And there it is. Did you scalp that, Course? We swept the high, and now if we get a big down close candle, ideally I'd like a little bit more PA in here. I'd want to see maybe us come back up to the new week opening gap high before we go down, but if it were really bearish on the day, it could just happen here. I'd want to see more long stopped out though. There it is. Kind of wanted to scalp that, but it is what it is. Coors missed it. Coors, you scared, bro? I'm just kidding. Yeah, but again, guys, this is not stuff that I would take. I mean, I would probably have taken this long if we balanced this 1 minute first, but yeah, not ideal. So guys, if we, again, this is the trade that I'm considering. If we get a nice close below this 1 minute, I'll try and take it short. Now, let me get rid of this 15 because this is kind of making me, it's hurting my eyes. But, okay, the 5 minute is getting rebalanced. We do have a 3 minute here too. So we could easily come back to the 3. But we're already in a 3 and we have the 5, so not trying to take any more long scalps. So this 1 minute OB could potentially be the thing that holds the price up to go a little bit higher. I wouldn't be surprised if we go back to the new week opening gap, guys. Because the fact that we came down to the sell side and left it by just a tick or so tells me that we have more of a mission here to stop out some shorts. Now, this is another way that I try and read PA. Let's look at the 2. Is there a nice 2 minute? Nope. So the only fair value gap that's holding down price, holding up price is this 1 minute. It's not the most obvious in the world, but TP up to the 3 is 180 bucks from here. Sheesh, look at this, guys. Just the range is huge. From this low to this high. Almost 50 points, wow. And almost at the 3. What's the 50% of this 5? That could also be a target. Yeah, I am still looking for shorts, course. I told you guys, if this 1 minute inverses, I'll take a short. Down to these equal lows. And if you really want to hold a trade, you could even take it down to these equal lows. So the RR on this trade would be crazy. Looking at a 10-to-1 RR. Also, if we get some kind of a bullish sweep into the new week opening gap and get a 1 minute inverse, I'll consider that as well. So that you get more downside potential and a better RR. Did we just leave equal highs here? Nope. So if you guys notice, we left these by a tick. You guys can see, if I'm taking a trade, I'll typically leave it here so you guys can see what I'm looking at. Now, I would probably rate this a 7 out of 10, depending on how bearish the candle sweep is. If it's really bearish, then I think I'll give it maybe like an 8. But if it kind of just comes down here gently, I'd give it maybe a 6 or a 7. Tesla not doing so hot today either. Again, we're anticipating news for this one. How's gold looking? Look at this, guys. So remember I told you guys this inverse. We dumped to these sell sides. There it is. Back into this hourly. You rewind the tape. I called that to the tick. Crazy. Yeah, so a lot of people give gold a bad rap, and I will admit it doesn't always follow through, but when it does, it follows through very nicely. Hoping that the 3-minute FEG inverses. Yeah, for more upside, you want to maybe rebalance this 3. Yeah, that's actually not bad. Not bad at all. Of course, that 3-minute, you're talking about NQ, right? Not gold. So if we form another 1-minute OB here, if you really want to scalp, you can scalp. If we get back up to the body right here, you would scalp up to this 3. I would say that's decent. But again, the RR is terrible and you have to be very quick. So a limit order there would be, on one NQ contract, would be what, $115? Not terrible. But so far, nothing bullish. So guys, if we get a huge down close candle here, you could definitely take this to sell side. Again, I will tell you right now, we're shorting at lows, which is not optimal. And you have to be very quick to take your profits or to move stops. Ideally, I want to see more than one leg. I don't want to just see up and then down. I want to see maybe up, and then down. The best moves you're going to get, especially if you're trying to short when you're shorting at the lows, is to see another manipulation up first. You don't want to just see one trade and then down. Okay, so that's very bearish, but we haven't gotten the close yet. Again, we have to wait for a 1-minute close below. So if it just dumps here, the trade it doesn't belong to us. If this 1-minute inverses, okay guys, so if this 1-minute inverses after trading into this 1 minute, hopefully it even forms a 1 minute. Okay, so it didn't. That's unfortunate. But look at this reaction we're getting out of this 1. That tells me we're probably going to go up to the 3 here. So if you guys want to try this long, if you get a body close above here, I don't think that's a bad scalp. So it would look like this. Yeah, so this is probably going to go up here now. In fact, guys, I will try this right now. Not the optimal trade, but I'm looking for it to balance this level right here. And I will have my stops down here. Up 160 on this right now. And my stop is going to be moved to break even here, just in case we dump. But ideally, I want to see that high and then this get taken out. Up 130 on it. Again, I'm moving my stops to break even quick because if this is manipulation, then I don't want to get destroyed. If that makes sense. Up 50 and we got stopped out. So that's part of the game, guys. That's how scalping works. But again, we should have, in theory, come up right here. And we probably still will. But I don't want to get smoked here and have another big bearish candle and get stopped out. So that's part of the game, guys. So again, I explained to you guys, we got a bullish reaction out of this 1 minute, and we closed back above the body of this one. So for me, that is a considerable scalp up to this 3. And again, we didn't get it. We came up to here and we rejected. So when I scalp like this, if we get a decent move, like this went almost, what, 10 points in my favor? I didn't take off the trade, but I moved it to break even. Now, if we get a close here, a big down close candle, that tells me we're probably going to go to sell side and potentially to this sell side too. But I still have a feeling that we're going to move up here just based on my experience. Also, guys, if you're in the stream and you haven't liked it, please do if you can. It helps the algo. And if not, you're dead to me. Yeah, guys, so there's really nothing here. This 1 minute inverse is holding still. So I think this will probably still drive us higher. But again, your stop should be... I mean, I would have taken profits if I took this 1. I would have taken profits at this internal high, like I said. And then your runners would have been stopped at break even here. Now, I still do think we probably will still run higher here. But again, this was like that liquidation candle. And then this would be the continuation. But again, we have equal lows here. I'm not trying to risk this with big size. Did you guys hear about the E. coli thing yesterday with McDonald's? Look at this move on McDonald's. It's already being bought up. There was like a 10% drop because there was news of E. coli in I think they were quarter pounders or something. And then it's right back to where it was. It's all BS. If you guys remember that happened with Chipotle, there was a big E. coli scare, and then Bill Ackman bought the dip on that. I think it was in like 2016. I was in college. I didn't even trade stocks back then at all. I had like an Acorns account where it rounds up your spending, and I put it in Berkshire Hathaway. So I actually did well with that. But yeah, Bill Ackman bought up Chipotle like crazy back then, and he is loaded off of that. I mean, I think he was already a billionaire, but he made a ton of money off of that. All this E. coli nonsense it's just nonsense. I personally already took a nice trade on McDonald's. I already told you guys this, but I longed it literally right here at 245, and I held it all the way up to, I think, 290. So I'm pretty much back to break even. I mean, if I was in a trade, I'd be back to, not break even, but where I would have sold from. Again, another potential rebalance into the 1 to bring us higher. But again, if we get a nice juicy down close candle here, I'll try a short down to these equal lows. But I will be even more confident of this if we take out these highs again. Who's taking this short? I want people to put their money where their mouth is. Again, guys, I'll be fair. I am taking this on eval again, only because of the nature of today. But this could also be the long here, back up to this internal high. From here, that's a $615 move. Not bad. Not bad. This 1 minute inverse, again, it's not obvious. I use these more so for like support or resistance. So in this case, it would be resistance down. If it inverses back up, it's probably going to work, but it's so not obvious that I wouldn't take it. And I'm telling you guys right now, I already don't like this trade because we have this internal low here. So the fact if we sweep it and close below, my stop will be moved to break even once this low hits. Okay, guys, I'm taking this long. And my stop is going to be here. I just think that we're probably going to go back up to this. So once this internal high gets swept, I'm going to move my stop to break even, which is right now. We're up 200 on the trade, 160. I think all these internal highs are going to get swept here. And again, this is just based off my PA experience, up 225. Hopefully it just goes, but again, this is part of discipline. You have to be willing to just hold a trade, even when it goes in your favor. So we're up 310 on it right now. And I am, did we take out the high? I don't like that we just reacted like that. But I still think it'll go up. All right, guys, I'm out there. So that was a $400 trade. Beautiful. So that account now is up to 51,217. So if you guys haven't been following me, you can take a look at this Apex account. I drove this from 49,700 so far up to 51,217. So I'll keep you guys tracked on this account, but we're looking to get this to 53 to get it funded, obviously. And if you guys are asking what prop firms I'm funded with, it's my funded futures and Apex Trader Funding. So that was a really nice trade, guys. And why did I like it? We came very close to this internal sell side and we had an extremely bullish reaction and we inversed a 1. So to me, that tells me that we're driving up to the next internal high. That's why I took the trade. Apex payout. Apex pays out. They pay me out. But I have heard a lot of people have issues with it. Personally, I haven't had any issues yet, but I have heard of people that do. But I think that either those people are trading without, I think on your funded, I don't know how it works exactly, but I think if you don't follow a certain stop loss or a certain RR, you can have issues with it. I have had delays of payouts. Like they say they're going to pay me out within a week or so, and then they don't for like another week. But I've never been denied a payout. But some people I've heard have. Have you been denied a payout, Course? Also, guys, if you're in the stream and you haven't liked it, you're dead to me. Never got funded. That's all right, bro. But yeah, I know that there's definitely, I don't know, I've heard a lot of stuff on Reddit and like just posts on X, but from personal experience and people that I know, not that many that have been denied. Yeah, 100%, Course. You will get funded, bro. It just takes time. I've been trading for almost 4 years, and for the first year and a half, almost 2 years, I wasn't profitable. So it Takes a very long time to just gain experience in the market, know what PA is going to do. It's hard. Definitely not easy. But one thing I would suggest, cores, and this is what helped me, I mean, especially if you're, I mean, scalping is a different story, obviously, and you can get smoked scalping, but if you don't have like a definitive model that you can, like, I'm not even joking with you. Sometimes when I dream, I see models being played out in my head, like taking out buy side liquidity, 1 minute inverse down to internal sell side. Like I see that in my head in a dream. So it's like so ingrained in you to see what good PA looks like that eventually you literally, it's like subliminal. If you don't have like a model that you can like immediately see in your head, I think that if you can get to that point, that's where you're going to be profitable, in my opinion. But at least that's just my experience. Just use models with FVG and IFVG. Sometimes add SMT. Yeah, SMT is great too. I don't use SMT, honestly. Like switching back and forth from different charts, sometimes I do look at ES, and I know that it does have an advantage, but I've never really done it. So like, oh, there was an SMT right there. But when I see, like, I don't think you really need SMT. If you know what you're looking for, hold on. Oh, I thought I was gonna sneeze. If you know what you're looking for, I don't think you need SMT, and that's a hot take. I know a lot of people use it, but I don't think it's necessary. And just like that, guys, I'm done for the day with 400, so I'm happy with that. If this 3-minute inverse is like you were talking about, cores, you could try to trade. The stop is huge. This is what I don't like. Like if we close right here, this is the area where I think we can get a lot of manipulation, especially because this is the top of a new week opening gap. Sorry for that. So I think a lot of traders can be induced long here. Now, I'm not saying it's not going to work, but personally, even on a live account, I wouldn't take this due to the fact that we have this new week opening gap here. And the stop is massive. Like, by the way, guys, I think this is probably going to come down to this internal low right now. If we limit order 1, we're looking at a $455 stop for a 500, not even a 500, a potentially your stop to break even would be here or take profit for a $595 win, not optimal. Oh, I didn't record this stream. I wanted to record that long. Damn. But here's another thing too. A lot of traders don't use new week opening gaps, and I'm telling you, they're going to save you a lot of the time. Now, they don't always save you, but when they do, if this is going to reject from the new week opening gap, we're coming all the way back down to here. But if this 3-minute inverses and we close maybe, I don't know, strongly above this internal high, then you could try this stop to break even here. But that's interesting. So we took out a small amount of the LRLR here, but we didn't even take out these equal lows. That's super interesting. So what is this 3-minute close? 3-minute closes in 2 minutes. So we probably won't even get the entry here, sadly. By the way, if you see any gurus or furus calling this 3-minute, and we end up hitting the high first, just know that they're BSing you. We have another minute until this 3-minute closes. So if we get the close up here, this trade is not valid. Binoj, did you take that long with me? Or were you off the computer? If I was real selling, NQ would have down 200 points already minimum. If it was real selling, oh, if it was real selling. This is just fake moves and chopping a lot. Not necessarily fake moves and chopping. I mean, this could easily be a long setup right here. If we get a 3-minute inverse and then a bounce out of it, I mean, we're going up to this internal high. These were clean moves. And we took a long in here up to this 3-minute, so. This is definitely not chop right now. This was chop. This is a manipulation, potentially distribution higher. So that's the 3-minute close, guys. If you want to be in a long, I'd give this, I'm going to give it a 7 just because we're at a new week opening gap, maybe a 6.5. But if you want to take a long, your stop would be a close back below the 3. Take profit would be up here, and your stop to break even would be at this internal high. But Manoj, did you see that 1 minute IFEG? I don't know if you were on the stream. But when we bounced out of this 1 minute here and we closed right here, I took a long and my take profit was right here. And also, guys, if you want a little bit less risk, I would maybe have a hard stop below this 1 minute order block if you're trying to take this long. So your entry would be here and your stop loss could be like below the body of this. It's a little bit better of an entry, but again, the fact that we're at this new week opening gap tells me that this is not an optimal 3-minute. And I explained to you guys why earlier. Now, it doesn't mean it won't work, but I prefer to take these 3-minute IFEGs and 5-minute when there's no new week opening gap in our way. Also, the 5-minute closed above, so the 5-minute stop is all the way down here. So this is not optimal to me. But that's just me. Maybe some other IFEG traders will take this. And on the 1 minute, we're forming more little internal 1 minutes here. Will be another 1 minute order block if we close above. So. That the best trades are when you trade at discounts of the range. So in this case, this was in discount, and you can see we have massive pushes. Now I think there will be a little bit of trouble getting up here. I might be wrong, but this is not a trade I would take on a live account, and that's just me. But of course, if it works, you're going to see every single IFEG trader post this on X that they took it, and I'm explaining to you in real time why it's not ideal. Why it's not ideal? Are you asking me? Or are you just... I just explained that in the last like 5 minutes. Yeah, so I've just been explaining that this whole time. But this new week opening gap is holding down price. And like we talked about earlier, the 5-minute stop is huge. There's a 3 and a 5-minute gap. For me, when a new week opening gap is stopping the path, it's not an optimal IFEG. Especially when we have equal lows below. So this is not optimal for those reasons. Equal lows, huge 3 and 5-minute stop, new week opening gap. Now, it's not to say it's not going to work, but it's just not the highest probability reversal play that I've seen. Oh, no worries, Course. But again, a lot of IFEG traders don't use new week opening gaps, and a lot of the times these save me. Because if this is a manipulation, we're going to come all the way back down to the equal lows. And we won't come up and take out this buy side. Now, if I'm wrong, obviously, it's going to go higher. But this new week opening gap is what I think is potentially holding down price here. And where we could potentially reject. So again, if you guys are just not understanding, 3 things that tell me this is not optimal. Now again, not optimal doesn't mean it's not going to work, but huge stop, there's a 3 and a 5 minute inverse. So that's the first reason. The second reason is we're at a new week opening gap that very few traders use these on their charts. But they are very real and they're very high resistance if we've traded below them. And then number 3 is that we have equal lows below. But of course, most traders will not show you that. And I'm not purely an IFEG trader, but most IFEG traders, again, don't use this stuff. So when a trade wins, they're going to all say that they were in it, but little do they know that there was a lot of stuff that was potentially holding price down that could have smoked them, that they're clueless about. I also don't like how long this is taking. But to be fair, we do have a macro coming up at 10:50, so if the move is going to happen, it'll happen here, in my opinion. But again, look how big. So this 3-minute stop is huge, but if you go to the 5-minute, it's even bigger. It's all the way down here. So that risk, and if it comes down here, guys, we're going lower. So you might not even get a chance to close your position there because the candle will just continue. But this is a $745 stop for, I mean, a $500 win if you're conservative, and then if you're holding it up to here, you know, your stop would go to break even at this high, and then you might even get stopped out. So I don't know, it's just not optimal. It's a 1-to-1 trade here. 745 to set to make 745. But nice reaction so far. But we'd want to see full bodied candle closes above this new week opening gap. Sheesh. Wow, end phase is getting destroyed. This is one I really want to take long again. I am in a swing in this, and I'm probably going to have to stop it out if we get a weekly close below 79. But if we inverse this weekly right here, I will take this long again full size, and I will target this internal high, this fair value gap right here. That's another thing. Okay, so we're getting a nice bullish reaction here. Even though it's a new week opening gap, so far it doesn't look like it's holding down the PA, but it still could. We want to see a full bodied candle close here. We don't want to see these wicks. Okay, so look how we just took out this internal high too. So that's already telling me this is not great. The fact that we're not having full-bodied candle closes and forming a 3-minute OB. I want to see this close full. I don't want to see these wicks. So this is the thing. The market is giving me feedback here, right? The fact I know there's a new week opening gap here and I'm seeing wicks. If I was in this trade, I would be a lot more cautious, and I would probably move my stop lower to lower my risk. But again, it's all dependent on what the candles do. So this candle closes at 45, which is in a few seconds. So I want to see full-bodied candle closes. So that looks nice to me so far. So it looks mid, but it's better than having a wick. And I like the fact that it's closing above the new week opening gap. So okay, that's very nice. So now I do think this is going to go higher, but that's just part of the game, guys. You have to be cautious, If you're willing to accept the risk, that's fine. But for me personally, this was not something I was willing to accept. I did take it long from here, and I have my trade. But if it goes, it goes. And if you are in this trade, guys, your stop to break even needs to be here. Once we take out this high, I would definitely move your stop to break even. If this is just a manipulation leg, then it will take us back down. But it should, in theory, if it closes above here, we should go up to this 5 minute right here. Are you in this? Of course, are you in this? I know it's not optimal, like I told you guys, for my model, but maybe it's optimal to you. Again, like I don't use SMTs. A lot of traders don't use new week opening gaps. And if they don't use them, they don't see them, then, it's just part of their model. Yeah, you didn't pull the trigger. All right, I'll be right back, guys, but keep a note of this internal high. If we take this out and you're in a long, especially, I think what will probably happen is we'll trade back down to the top of this body. But if you're in this long, your stop to break even needs to be at this high, in my opinion. And if you're really conservative, you can take profits there. But if I was in this long, I would have waited for a pullback. So I would have been probably in at some point here at the top of the new week opening gap. And my stop would be to break even there. So we're about to take that out. Okay, I'll be right back. So move your stop to break even when that high hits. All right, move your stops to break even. Wow. So lack of displacement above the high, guys. Yeah, I would say with probably 90% certainty now we're going up to this 5 minute. Again, I have my trade for the day, so I'm not taking it, but again, my trade was down here. I should have taken it with 2 contracts and held a runner, but I didn't. So it's all good. Wow. So we did sweep all these highs now. Yeah, I mean, on the 1 minute, this looks a little bit scary, I'm not going to lie. But I do still think this 5 minute is going to be balanced. So if you're in this long again, you would have been entered here or here on this candle. Stop would be to break even here, and your take profit would be the 5 minute. Or at least a partial in here, and then maybe your secondary would be at this internal high. I don't like this reaction so far, though, on the 5, I'm not going to lie. Yeah, very, very not optimal reaction there on the 1 minute. I mean, on the wick. So if you're now, so here's how I'm going to teach you guys something. So if you're looking at the 5 minute for your trade right now, you want to zoom into the 1 minute and see what's going on here. So in this case, this 1 minute fair value gap is holding up price right now. Okay, this is the support of the market. If this closes below, you immediately want to exit the trade. And the reason I say that is because if this was really bullish, this 1 minute should be supporting price to bring us higher. If it closes below, that tells me that price action is not being respected and that we're probably going to go back down to this internal low. Maybe we'll get another 1 minute out of this 3. I don't know. But at least to save some money and stop your trade from going completely negative, I would stop it out if you get a 1 minute close below this. So you guys want to zoom into lower time frames to analyze and support your bias. Hope that makes sense. And we just made, looks like triple equal lows there. No, not quite, but there's 2 equal lows here, so that we just took those out. Nope, now they're triple equal lows. But again, guys, maybe we see a tiny sweep below this and then a bullish reaction, but we're in the macro time, so the macro time should be what drives us higher here. We do not want to be stalling here. I don't want to see huge wicks like this. So already I'm not liking what I'm seeing, and look at this bearish candle, and I would be out of the trade right now for at least a little bit of money, because I think we're going down to this low now, or at least this low. Yeah, not good. Not good. So now, if this 1 minute inverses, you could try a long, but I would not take this because of the fact that we already swept all these highs. Nothing looks optimal to me anymore. Yeah, if you're bullish right now, this is not what you want to see, obviously. But I explained to you guys why on the 1 minute, this was the... Sorry, I'm moving this out of the way. This is the fair value gap I had drawn. This was what was supporting price. So look at that. Once we reject it, we come down and take out internal sell side. If you were bullish here, you'd want to see this holding price up. So that's pretty crazy. So this doesn't often happen where we close back above a new week opening gap and then we just dump. So just something to let you guys know. This is not common price action. And I think the reason this is happening today is because of the Fed speakers. Especially the BRICS event. BRICS FOMC speakers and no red folder news is a recipe for this kind of PA. On a normal day, this would have followed through up to this 5 minute fair value gap, in my opinion. But I hope you guys understand now why I was saying what I was saying. So I talked about 3 reasons why that trade wouldn't work. Equal lows, the 3 and 5 minute huge stop, and then the new week opening gap. But the 4th reason would be the FOMC speakers and no red folder news. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, you need to study ICT more. I know there's some people, like I can imagine if I was just coming into this live stream and I had no idea what ICT trading is, or I had no idea what futures were, which was me at a point years ago, I would just be like, what the hell is going on? So I get it. Now on ES, so we did talk about SMTs, right? In theory, this is a breaker, right? Low, high, lower, low. This is a bullish breaker, but we're disrespecting the high of the breaker. And our final line in the sand for bullishness is this 1 minute fair value gap. On NQ, we don't have a breaker, but because there was an SMT and a bullish breaker on ES, then this is, in theory, the support for the market. We can use it the same way we use the bullish breaker for ES. So this order block and this order block are the final lines in the sand and this fair value gap. And so far we are holding the 3, so that's a decent sign. Okay guys, so here's another trade that I will take, okay? If we create some kind of a 3 minute FVG here and we close above it, I will take that long up to this 5 minute. Or you know what, I'll do the 3. which is this low, I will take the profits right there. So if we get a bullish reaction here and we get some kind of a 3-minute inverse and we close back above this candle's low, I'll take it long. But until then, I will not be doing that. Guys, does everybody in here trade ICT? How many of you are just like pulling up to this and you have no idea what's going on? And how many of you actually trade ICT? I know Coors trades ICT. Binoge, I don't think he does. He just uses fair value gaps. I think Bobby does. Yeah, obviously Bobby does. There he is. Bobby, you've been quiet this morning, bro. What's going on? Hold on, guys. So if this 1 minute right here, sorry, this is a 3 minute. If this inverses, I think we're going to these equal lows. Bob, playing FIFA, this is a terrible day to be trading. 100%. Good for you, Bob. See, Bob learned. Bob has learned wisely either from me or from ICT or whoever else he uses to learn. These no red folder news days with FOMC speakers are a recipe for disaster. So guys, so far we are holding this 3 minute right here. So here is what, this is a trade I will take on eval. If we get a very bullish reaction here and we close back above the new week opening gap again, I will take it up to this 5. However, or this 3. However, I do think now that we've traded back below the new week opening gap, I think this is going to be a sell model down to these equal lows, if I had to guess. Because guys, if we were bullish here, first of all, we have on ES, we have this breaker that is completely getting destroyed. This woman is the final line in the sand. This 3 minute fair value gap is also the final line in the sand. And we're now just completely disrespecting. We took out these highs with a lack of displacement. This is not the PA you want to see if we're truly bullish on the day. If we're truly going to see a reversal, you don't want to see this. So the only way that I would say that market structure really has changed is, again, if this bearish PD array gets violated and we go up, that would be the only time I would take a trade up to the upside. Because right now, this is all telling me that price action is bearish. Because we're not respecting, there's no displacement above highs. We're disrespecting bullish PD arrays. Especially if this one gets destroyed, I think we're going lower. Now, I wouldn't take this because we're already too low, and I've already had a very profitable trade on the day. But I'm just giving you guys the analysis if you want to take a trade. And that's another thing. No matter how good you are at trading, if you have a profitable trade on the day with a great RR like I did, even if you're 100% or 90% confident, just stop. Take your profits for the day and be done. Like, you don't need to be trading suboptimal setups, right? Like I said, this to me is A+. If we inverse this 3 minute, I would take this 99 out of 100 times. So I'm okay with risking some of my profits on the day. Now, I might even move to MNQ, so I'm trading micros. Ugh, I just got signed out. I'll sign back in a second. But if we already had this massive sell-off today, why am I trying to take shorts? Like, it doesn't make sense. It's very suboptimal, especially if you've been positive on the day. Why are you trying to risk your hard-earned money with something that is not optimal? I do think it's a good trade, but I'm not trying to short at lows. And that's just me. So let me just quickly move this aside so I can log back into my eval account here. We ready? And I know I've explained to you guys already. If you're just joining the stream, I will show you the eval account username, and I will show you the dollar figure of it every time that I trade it, so you can track it. We're bringing it to 53,000. So here it is. If you guys haven't seen it already, this is the Apex account, and we brought this from 50,000. It went down to 49,700, and we're now at 51,217. I will show you guys this probably every day. I'll show it to you every day that I log in, that we live trade. We'll bring it up to 53,000. Also, if you're in the stream and you haven't liked it, please do. It helps the algo. Thank you very much. So far we're holding this 3 still. If we close below this 3, guys, let me just check the 5. Ooh, so I already had this 5-minute close. So technically, in theory, this would be a short down to here. However, I would wait until the 3-minute bullish PD array gets inversed. I would take that short. If you guys haven't taken a trade yet and you want something that's, I mean, it's not optimal A+. I would give it maybe a 7 out of 10 because A, because we're low on the day, and B, because we can also come back and balance this 3-minute. You could try it, but I wouldn't. So that, what would that look like? If this 3-minute bullish PD array gets violated, right, to the downside. So if we get a 3-minute close here, if the body closes below it, this is a long setup, so let me move it to short. Your entry would be ideally here. Stop loss would be a close back above the 3-minute, and your take profit would be these equal lows right here. Okay, so this is not an optimal RR trade. And also keep in mind, this new week opening gap can also act as a magnet for price, so we can easily come back and try and balance it again. What I predict is going to happen here is we'll come back, kind of chop around in this, and then potentially drop. I don't know if it's just going to happen on this leg, but again, this is just out of experience from what I've seen when the market comes down like this. Doesn't mean that you can't use this. Maybe your model is different. But in my experience, these new week opening gaps kind of act as magnets for price. We come back and trade into them, and then we come down. So if we get a nice 1-minute, maybe out of this 3-minute in the new week opening gap, that would be a better trade. So like if we get something here where we come up to this 3-minute, create a bullish 1-minute fair value gap, inverse it, and come down, that would be a more optimal 1-minute short. So let's see what we get. And guys, also we're in this 1050 to 1110 macro. This should have been when price delivered higher. So the fact that we didn't tells me that we're probably bearish. Cores. With trading, do I create an LLC and send the profits to it? How does that work? Well, I'm not a financial advisor, but I do have multiple LLCs. I told you guys I do run a real estate company, so my LLC is primarily run through there, but I do have a separate one for trading. How do I legitimize my trading legitimize or legal? How do I legitimize my trading profits? What category do you create it under? Create what? The LLC? Well, my structure is a little bit different to the average person. I have one main LLC, and then I have like a little, it's like a tree. It's like a sub LLC under that LLC. How do I pay tax with my trading profits? I don't know. That's not a question to ask me, Cores. My accountant does all of that for me. Trying to get business credit. Well, bro, if you're trying to trade and you want to, if you want to like use expenses to deduct from your overall income, your accountant's going to do all that for you. I'm not a pro. I'm not a tax pro. I'm a trader and a real estate investor. But What I will say is that if you open an LLC and you trade, for example, my LLC for trading is an educational, it's under the category of education because I teach people how to trade. Oh, this is the same thing. So I have an education business and then a real estate business. So they're two separate LLCs, but the main LLC is a real estate one. I put properties under there. I put any expenses I have for that business under there. And then for my trading, if I have any expenses like Discord fees or computers, monitors, laptops, phones, internet, home office, all of that is deducted. But yeah, of course. So if you're trying to open a trading business, also realize that if you like operate as a trading professional, like for example, if you have TradingView or any other software, if you were recognized as a trading professional, you have to buy the professional platforms and they're like 10 times more expensive than the individual retail trader individual platforms. So also keep that in mind. But yeah, my business, it's not really it's not stock related, it's education related. And it just happens to be education in the markets. That doesn't make me a stock professional, doesn't make me a financial advisor. It's just gives me an education business. This 1 minute doesn't look half bad, guys. Yeah, exactly, of course. This is a 1 minute inverse, but I don't like that we didn't trade above this internal high. But again, we're rejecting from the new week opening gap that I told you guys. This is invisible on most people's charts. Most people do not see this. If you want this indicator, by the way, I'll have to remember which one it is. It's the weekly opening gap by Kryptonite. Put this on your charts and it will label these new week opening gaps for you automatically. I have the last 20 new week opening gaps. You can take a screenshot of this if you want. But I label the last 20 new week opening gaps. They are the gaps that form in between Friday's close and Sunday's open for the markets. So those gaps act as support and resistance for price, and they act as magnets. So if we get a trade back into this 1 minute, you could try like a little sub 2022 model short down to equal lows. But again, guys, most traders do not have these new week opening gaps in their chart, and they're clueless why things reject. And I explained why I don't think this is an optimal IFEG long reversal setup. And as you can see, it is rejecting, like I said, not exactly where I thought it was, but it's still rejected. And again, it's important that you see, if you have these on your chart, you know why it's happening. Yo, if you guys, I'm curious, if you guys had to guess how old I am, how old did you say that I am? I'll look at the camera. If you had to guess, tell me what you think. And if you had to guess my nationality, what would you say? Binoche says 35. Coors, what do you think, bro? Bob says 25. We'll start with age. I've gotten a lot of different things, but only 2 guesses so far. I'm gonna let a few other people guess if they hear it. Core says 28. I think I've said it on stream too, so maybe that's how Coors knows. Yeah, I just turned 28 yesterday, or on October 19th. Damn, Binoche, I'm offended, bro. You thought I was 35? Yeah, of course knew, bro. Of course, did you know that or did you guess? Because I have said that on the stream, I'm pretty sure. Now that I think about it. Oh. Yo, Oh, hold on. So we did just take this internal low, and we're inversing this one. Yeah, this looks really bearish. Yes, I told you happy birthday when it comes. I don't remember that, but thank you, bro. Maybe I blacked out when you said that. Yeah, this is not good for anybody that's long. I'm telling you right now, this is very likely now, in my opinion, to dump here. We inversed all these bullish PD arrays, and we have all this sell side liquidity here. So yeah, I would definitely not be long here. Absolutely not. Again, these are perfect equal lows. I think this is probably where price will be drawn. After these equal lows get taken, we might be able to get a reversal setup, possibly. But yeah, I completely agree, Binoche. I don't feel like I'm 28 at all, even though it's still pretty young. But like to me, it seemed old. I thought to myself like, wow, I feel like I'm like 20, like 21. I feel like I just graduated from college, and then I look at my age and I'm 28. I'm like, damn. But yeah, you're only as old as you feel. If you treat your body well, I exercise every day. I do a lot of stretching. If you guys know the knees over toes guy, he's the goat for like if you have any knee pain or lower back pain. He does like a bunch of weighted dynamic stretching. If you follow him on Instagram, he's incredible. Makes you feel like $1,000,000. So eat right. Do your dynamic stretching. Get sunlight. So like I sit on the computer until around, I mean it's 8 o'clock my time. But until maybe 11 or 12 max, I'm on the computer, and then I'm at the gym. I get sunlight every day. If you get all that stuff, I think you should be good. So these internal lows are hitting now, guys. If you are short from here, I would move your stop to break even here. I think that's possible that you get stopped out here, but I think we're going down to these equal lows. And this was that nice 1 minute. So this was actually the real trade. If I was in, I mean, I probably would have taken this, but again, I don't like that we didn't take out this internal high. So that's why I didn't take it. But I do think we're going down here now. So let me see here. It's also lunch now, guys. So once these equal lows get taken out, I will get off the charts, I think. Well, it's not really lunch, it's 11, but again, my trades have been taken for the day. If we take out these equal lows and we inverse this, you could try another trade up to these internal highs if you really want to. And, oh. And boom. That is a very, very strong candle. I wouldn't be surprised now if we go even lower to here. This looks super bearish on the day, guys. I think we're going to have a big set of down candles here if I had to guess. But again, this was the target. This is just icing on the cake. So you would take your profits here, and anything else is just icing on the cake, guys. But I'm just telling you right now, I think this is going to be a pretty bearish reaction, even from here. I don't think we're going to go much higher at all. I think we're going to go much lower. Guys, also, if you're in the stream, I've got 5 people in here that I know of, and 3 people like the stream. That is sad. So you guys could please like it. That would really help out the algorithm. It helps more people see the stream. Course, what did you say about when price don't break new week opening gap, it's likely to change direction? That's what you said, right? When price don't break the new week opening gap. No, what I said was that, well, first of all, the new week opening gap is a magnet for price, but it also typically acts as resistance. So when I see these potential reversals, so like on any other day, if I saw this 3 minute and we inversed it nicely, I would say with confidence we're going up to this 3. But when we form these these bearish PD arrays at new week opening gaps, I'm more likely to believe that they're going to reject. That's what I don't know how exactly I said it like 30 minutes ago, but pretty much the new week opening gaps act as resistance if they're traded below. So like right here, we traded below it. We came back to retest it, and we formed a bearish PD array within the new week opening gap. To me, that is not an optimal long. To me, I think that that would be something that would be more likely to reject, and that's what we saw. Yeah, so I hope that makes sense, Cores. But like I said, a lot of IFEG traders don't use new week opening gaps, and so they're kind of blind to this. They don't see it. I much rather prefer new week opening, much rather prefer IFEG setups to occur under when there's no new week opening gaps present. Now, if one forms below it, it's likely that we can take a long up to it. Okay, because they act as a magnet for price. But when they form, for example, very close to the highs of a new week opening gap, like close to the top, like this one did right here, this becomes a much lower probability IFEG to me. And as you can see, it did reject. And again, it was not just this, it was the fact that there were Fed speakers, it was the fact there were equal lows, it was the fact that this this fair value gap stop was massive. And also that we had this accumulation, manipulation, distribution. So there's a lot of different reasons, but that is the situation behind the new week opening gap. All right, guys, I think I'm done. This was obviously the main target. We have another macro at 1150. So my guess is that we continue down here, but again, this was the target, so I'm not going to take a trade down to this, but just keep that in mind. Study price action on the 1 minute, maybe see if you see any 1 minutes that act as resistance, maybe some IFEG setups, but study that. And if you guys have any questions, you could send me a link or send me a message on Discord, or you can DM me on X too. But yeah, I'm going to go back to the Discord and